Sahil Kapur is Bloomberg's national political reporter. He brings us this story from Capitol Hill. A great story, and the question it raises is, why did it take until now for the president to suddenly be surprised by this?
It's a great question, Vonnie, and it's part of a pattern with President Trump. He's not paying attention to the finer points of the policy details in many of his proposals. We saw this with a health care bill where he looked at the House version, he said it was too mean. He looked at the Senate version, he said it needs more heart. He seemed to be caught off guard a little bit that it dealt with pre-existing conditions the way it did, and now he seems to be a little bit surprised by the fact that the state and local tax deduction, that ending this tax break would hurt some middle-class Americans, including in his home state of New York and states like New Jersey and Connecticut, where it's used extensively.
Well, this really throws a wrench in the works, right, Sahil? Because this was going to offset some of the other. This was going to be a pay-for, basically.
An important pay-for, $1.3 trillion over 10 years, and it's the biggest one that Republicans put in their plan. Most House Republicans, most Senate Republicans want to end this tax break. It mostly affects states that are represented by Democrats, and they're not expecting Democratic votes. So politically, it's the biggest pile of money that they can, use. But it has caused consternation among several dozen House Republicans who represent New York, New Jersey, and some in California as well. An example is Peter King, who represents Long Island. He said he's simply not going to vote for any tax bill that ends the state and local deduction. He said a lot of his middle-income constituents, especially those with large families and who pay high property taxes, pay that. So Republican leaders are going to meet with their members today on this issue and try to hash out a compromise. We've heard talk of there potentially being an accommodation. I heard yesterday that the negotiations had gone dark and they're waiting to hear an update from leadership.